couple of years ago, I was driving through Arkansas and I happened upon one of the greatest crappie fishing locations I've ever been to. I just loved the place. Well, it's been a couple of years and I just couldn't stand it. It was always lurking in the back of my mind. So we're gonna visit it again. Coming up in the next half hour, great crappie fishing from a little known location in Arkansas. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Ever since I was a little kid and my family used to vacation in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, I've always held a warm spot in my heart for the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains. It's a breathtaking place to drive through if you've never done it. But now I have an even better reason to love this part of the state. It's got great crappie fishing. Now there's some famous lakes like Ouachita and Hamilton, the lakes everybody's heard of, but I'd like to welcome you in for only my second time to beautiful Lake Greeson. It's located just north of Murfreesboro, Arkansas, and it's home to some great crappie fishing. We're gonna be helped out this week by a good buddy of mine, Dustin Holmes, who guides here every day of his life. He knows all the hot spots and puts out a lot of brush piles. While we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays, right where you live, both saltwater and freshwater. The next time you see me, I'll be out on Lake Greeson crappie fishing for great big ones, but right now, let's get things started back at the studio and your weekend planner.
These lunar tables are showing fair game fish activity on both days this weekend. The best times to be on the water are early mornings starting at 3:36 on Saturday and 4:31 on Sunday, or late afternoons starting around 4:01 on Saturday and 4:56 on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 7:36 and set at 6:51. Evenings will feature a moon that is 72% visible. Stick with us to check out all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area. I'll return with the 2016 Bassmaster Classic champion Edwin Evers on this week's Ask the Pro feature. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's wireless and easy-to-use XI3. Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist. Strike King, tie one on. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, because champions aren't born, they're made.
This is just one gorgeous place. There's a fish. And there is a starter. There's your beautiful Arkansas crappie right there. Hey everybody, we've made it out on beautiful Lake Greeson. This is just one gorgeous place. There's a fish. It's got a lot of fish in it. And there is a starter. Crappie. There's what we're fishing for, and he fell off right there, almost in the net. That's why you're supposed to use a net for crappie. But that's a good keeper to get it started. There's your beautiful Arkansas crappie right there. Well, so let me get you oriented here. Made it out on the lake. This is one of the most scenic lakes you'll ever find. Beautiful clear water, hardwood trees all the way around it, pine trees everywhere. The lake is about 7,000 to 9,000 surface acres, depending on the level of the lake. It is a flood control lake, so the water level does vary here quite a bit. It'll get down as low as like 5,000 surface acres when they're drawing it down. But then under flood conditions like we had last spring, it'll get up to 9,000 surface acres. And you can actually see from some of our aerial shots here that you can see where the old water level was, and you can see all that kind of bare rock ground between the trees and the water. That's kind of where the high water and the low water level is. It's a real rocky lake. There's not a lot of cover in it. There's not a lot of weed beds or standing timber, logs. The crappie don't have much to get on, so we're fishing artificial man-made brush piles. The lake level here at Greeson is drawn down far enough that some of these brush piles are sticking out of the water. There's one in a 5-gallon bucket with some concrete laying over on the shore, half in and half out of the water. Here's a couple of more that are actually still submerged in the water, sitting upright, and they sit about 6 or 7 feet off the floor of the lake. My buddy who guides here, Dustin Holmes, has created all these brush piles and marked them with waypoints. He gave us a few of those, told us where they are. It's a great place. I'm going to put a couple in the live well. We'll throw them back later, but I don't want them to spook the school.
Well, some of the best fall action of the year is going on right now for huge triple tail. Some of these fish are going over 20 pounds. It's underway right now on the southeast coast. I don't have all the details, but first this from our good friends at Foreshore Transportation. Foreshore Transportation, the simple solution to all your freight hauling needs. Foreshore can ship freight across the country or across the state. Whatever the load, wherever the destination, Foreshore gets it done fast, safe, and hassle-free. My good buddy Jake Marcus and his pals are catching triple tail up to 25 pounds. Those are world-class fish. Jake says many of them are in the 12 to 15 pound class. They're catching them in the lower Mobile Bay area, Mississippi Sound, and the Bayou Labatry ship channel. It's all sight fishing. They're pitching live shrimp with floats around various structures. Some of the channel markers are good. Jake prefers live shrimp, but you can also catch them on lures if you can't get real big jumbo live shrimp. Spotted sea trout fishing has been good along the Mississippi coast. The lower bays and river mouths have been most especially productive. Night fishing for these fish have been very good. They're going 1 to 3 pounds. They'll take small lures that imitate shrimp and also anything that imitates small bait fish. The MR17 mirror lure is a great plug for this kind of fishing. Redfish are also in all the river mouth areas along the coast of Mississippi. Along the coast of Georgia, my good friend Tim Cutting out of St. Simon's Island says that the fishing has been outstanding for redfish. It's sight fishing up in the marsh areas during high tides. It's all sight fishing. You can catch them on weedless lures like soft plastic jerk baits. They take them very readily. Fishing has been excellent using those baits. Well, that's it for All on the Coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
Having to just finesse this thing across the top of these brush piles. Keep from getting snagged. There's one. All right, there's another bite. Oh, that's a good one. Good one right there. I better slide a net under that one, just so I'll be sure and get him in the boat. Got him. All right, look at that. That's one of these good Greeson Lake big ones right there. Look how deep he got that bait in his mouth. Man, when they decide to eat it, they're just eating it and sucking it all the way down inside their mouth. Look at that big old dude. That's what I came to Arkansas for right there. I'm gonna stick that one in the live well again. We're sticking them in there to keep them from running back in there and spooking the school, which they will do. But I wanna stick him right in the net here just for a second because I wanna show you the technique that I'm using to finesse these fish out of these brush piles. So this is my new Lowrance live sight unit. And I'm scanning, I'm finding the brush. So I know that that brush pile is at about the 11 o'clock position off the bow of my boat. And it's about 20 feet out there. So what I'm doing is just making a cast about 25 or 30 feet out there, holding that rod high at about the 11 o'clock position, 11 or 12, and then I'm letting it fall about 10 or 15 seconds, which gets that little 16th ounce jig head just down over the top of that brush. And then I'm just gently swimming it along. I'm lifting that rod tip, letting it swim, turning that reel handle, letting it go back, gently swimming it up, hold it steady, let it fall, take up the slack, drop your rod, and I'm just pulling it across that brush. If you just let it go all the way to the bottom, it's gonna fall right in the brush pile. It's gonna get snagged every single cast. How hungry a crappie that is right there. Look where my jig is down there. It's way down in the back of his throat. Night, he pulled my rod tip down. Wow, I made a long cast out over that brush pile. You look at where he sucked that jig down too. I'll show you this. That's a hungry crappie, and he broke my line right there, but I want to show you how hungry a crappie that is right there. Look where my jig is down there. It's way down in the back of his throat. Well, welcome back everybody. We're still out here catching us some crappie. Bobby Garland Baby Shad, my all-time favorite crappie bait on Greeson Lake in Arkansas. And Let me tell you, I'm doing this with a new technology that's just out on the market just in the last year, actually less than that. I'm going to put this fish in the live well real quick because I'll explain to you that a lot of times I'm not going to keep these fish. I'm going to wind up releasing them. But if you turn them right back in there in your brush pile fishing, a lot of times that fish will swim back in the brush pile and he's all upset and excited and he'll spook all the rest of the fish, especially when they're finicky like these crappie here at Greeson are. So I'm going to stick them in the live well real quick. As I mentioned, I'm using the new live site technology from Lowrance. By the way, that's what that fish did to me right there. This is a new scanning technology that uses a transducer that shoots out horizontally through the water column sideways, and it lets you scan the water to see what's out there. So what I've done is I've scanned sideways and found this brush pile. This is a brush pile that Dustin Holmes and some of his guide friends sunk, and you can actually see it right there on the right side of your screen. It's out there about, I don't know, 30 feet, something like that, which is perfect. And you can actually occasionally see fish swimming around it. And so what I'm doing is just taking this jig and I'm casting it out past the top of the brush pile and slowly reeling that bait right across the top of the brush. And I can actually see my bait on the live site unit. Let me show you what my little Bobby Garland bait on my Moglo jig head looks like. You can see it right in here coming back toward the boat. The boat's on the left side of the screen, so you can literally see the brush, see the fish, see your lure, and at times you can even see the fish swim over and bite your lure. It's a pretty phenomenal technology. It's called Live Sight. It's made by Lowrance. Video game fishing right here.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. You know, I tell you what, if it's fall and if you want to go fishing, you want to get away from wherever you're at, come down for a long weekend. Our captains here at Crazy Sister Marina can take care of all your needs from inshore, nearshore, and offshore, but also you can come rent a boat and do it all right here yourself. Or bring the family, send them out on a kayak tour, on an eco tour, we've got it all. Visit crazysistermarina.com to find out more information. I'll tell you, one of the best tips that I've ever gotten for bass fishing, and you know, if you've been following me over the last 5 years, I've just gotten into it. I'm a late bloomer, I'm a salt. I got salt in these blood veins here. But I'll tell you, if you get out and you're struggling, you're catching a couple fish, pay attention to where you caught those fish. Let that last fish always dictate where you catch your next one. In other words, if you're catching them on structure, stay on structure. If you're catching them on grass, stay on grass. If you're struggling, you've caught a couple fish and they've been on grass with a little bit of structure in it, start working some spots like that. This time of the year, you're gonna find those fish moving into the backs of the creeks anyway, looking for that shad hatch. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great time to get out and catch some good numbers. I've been having a lot of success on the Waccamaw and the PD down here along the coast. You can do it on your lake as well. Get out and go fishing, but remember that. Let your last fish dictate where you catch that next one. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Buck Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Jumping crappie. These are some jumping crappie, boy. They are some feisty. Okay, there's another fat one for you. There's one coming up beside the boat. There we go. Okay. There's a Greeson Lake crappie for you right there. Well, let me explain a couple of things. By the way, welcome back to Greeson Lake, Arkansas. Doing a little crappie fishing for this week's episode. Favorite thing to do. Fairly light spinning tackle. Little small crappie jig swinging back and forth right there. I'll show all that gear to you at the end of the show. One of the things that I've learned in the 2 trips that I've been here to Greeson is that the crappie here are pretty finicky. You know, I'm used to crappie back in Texas where I live, that you can just get up on top of a brush pile and fish vertically straight down in it, right over the top of it, drop your jig straight down and shake it, and the fish will bite it. But here, you've got to be a little more stealthy than that. You've got to back off the brush and make cast and work it over the top of the brush piles. If you get right over the top of them, just the waves lapping against your boat and the noise in your boat will spook the fish off. And Dustin Holmes, our guide here, told me exactly that. And he said a lot of times when they spook off, they won't go far. They'll just move 50 or 60 feet off to the side. You can still cast around and catch some, but they'll move off the brush pile. So you got to be a little more careful here. So what we've done is we've located a brush pile, and it's about, I'm looking at my live site right now, and it's about 30 feet straight to the side of my boat. And I'm just making long casts and working that jig right across the top of that brush pile with my little Bobby Garland bait, across the top, trying not to get snagged on it and working it down the sides. They mill around the outsides of the brush as well, especially when the sun's low in the sky. Darker conditions, they'll mill around the edge. The sun gets straight up overhead, they'll tend to bury up in the brush, and then it becomes a lot more difficult.
Hey guys, this week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama report is brought to you by Can Cooker. Head over to cancooker.com and check out their product line, and here's what I'm going to guarantee you. Regardless of what your needs are, if you're looking for a quick, easy, convenient, tasty, healthy, efficient way to cook food at home, check them out at cancooker.com. We're going to talk real quick about one thing and one thing only. We're going to talk bass fishing because I just kind of love bass fishing. And we're going to talk about what's going on right now in this 3-state region, and it's going to be the same thing. And it all centers around the weather. We've had some cool weather come through lately that we have all been praying for, and the Lord has delivered. And we are happy, we are cool, we are not sweating to death. When that water begins to fall, the temperature, they know that winter's around the corner, and that means they need to eat. Little shameless plug here. Run out and get you a Strike King Sexy Dog, a Sexy Dog Hard Knock, and a Mega Dog. And while you're at it, grab you a couple Strike King buzz baits too. Black for cloudy days, white for sunny days. Let me make it real easy for you. Find shallow flats next to deep water. Look for bait fish activity on slick, calm days. If it's windy, fish where the wind's blowing, and walk that walking bait around over the flat, over stumps, ditches, all that good stuff, and throw the buzz bait around grass. You're gonna have the best time you've had all year. It's about to happen. We'd love to see you here. God bless.
There's another bite. Got him. Yeah. Jumping crappie. These are some jumping crappie, boy. They are some feisty, hot dudes, and every one of them the same size. Okay, there's another fat one for you. Hey, I want to mention something to you here. If you've never been to this part of Arkansas, you would just not believe how beautiful it is. It is an unbelievable place. You've got the diamond mines down here, that park you can go to. You've got all kinds of hiking trails, camping spots, beautiful lakes, great fishing, great skiing. Just a fantastic place to bring your family. And I want to mention two things. One, if you want a great place to stay, the SouthEAST Marina and Lodge is right down by the dam. That's the cabins we're staying in, and I'll show you some of the shots of some of the cabins, some of the lodges. They can accommodate big groups, full marina, restaurant, store, everything you could want, all in one place at the SouthEAST Marina and Lodging. And then Dustin Holmes is your guide. If you want to book a guide trip here and come out and have him put you right on these brush piles and right on some of these crappie like this one, then contact Dustin Holmes. The contact information you see on your screen, we'll give it to you one more time in case you don't have something to write with at the end of the show. This one goes in the live well, and we've had a great day.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter, and watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Lose, feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland, the best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. Ron wants to know, what is one feature in fish finders that you rely on the most? For an answer, we asked MLF angler and 2016 Bass Master Classic champion, Edwin Evers.
You know, you think about sonar, you think about side imaging, the down scan, but without a doubt it would have to be my Lowrance. You know, my Lowrance would be the mapping, the chart, and that has so many things involved in it. You know, so many times you're fishing an event and you see something shallow and I need to put a tree symbol on that laydown that's just underneath the water, or I see a rock or a stump, or I notice on my contours on the map of the Lowrance, you know, I go out around a point with an avionics chip that's in it, you know, or the other maps that come along with it. So that to me you take that away, then I'm completely lost. All I know is the depth.
Thank you, Edwin. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now let's take a look at this week's Big Catch winner.
We are back at the boat ramp at the SouthEAST Marina and Lodge, and I want to show you just a few of these good crappie that we caught today. This is just a few of what we caught. We caught more, but those are some good quality crappie right here. Just wanted to show you what a couple of those look like. But it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Jeff Stiles of Knoxville, Tennessee, showing a 40-pound blue catfish he caught at Watts Bar Lake in Tennessee. If you'd like a chance to have your big fish and yourself shown on television, just go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox Sports Outdoors. Go back to last Tuesday's post. It's about the Big Catch of the Week. Follow the instructions, post your picture there, give us the details about the catch, and you might be seen on television. Next up, here's some of the gear that you'll need if you want to catch some of these crappie like we caught here on Greeson Lake in Arkansas. And first of all, I want to show you the Lowrance live sight transducer. That's the transducer there on the bottom. I've actually got it rigged up to a Fishing Specialties telescoping pole. Mounts to a bracket that goes in your boat, and you simply drop it in the slot. Then it's got a handle, and you can point that handle any direction, and you can scan for those brush piles like we did on this week's show. As far as the rod and reel goes, this is my new favorite crappie rod and reel. It's the Wally Marshall Speed Shooter rod and reel by Lew's. It's actually made to shoot underneath docks, but I've adopted it as my all-around go-to crappie rod. And I had it rigged up with about 6-pound test fluorocarbon line. You need that in this clear water. As far as the bait is concerned, use that little light jig head. That's a Bobby Garland 1/16 ounce jig head, and we had 2 plastic baits that worked very well. One is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, that's the one on the jig head, and then the other one is the Bobby Garland Pile Diver. Again, both of these baits were great to swim across the top of the brush piles. I really enjoyed seeing the remake of the classic movie The Lion King, and in a very poignant moment, the old monkey Rafiki is talking to the young Simba about his dad Mufasa, the Lion King, and he says, "Remember who you are." So many of us struggle with our identity. It affects everything, our jobs, our relationships, even what we eat and drink. Many of us have the problem that we don't remember who we are. We are created by God in His image, and we are important and valuable to Him. That's who we are. I hope you enjoyed our trip here to Greeson Lake, north of Murfreesboro, Arkansas. One more time, here's the contact information if you'd like to come here, beginning with the contact for Dustin Holmes. He's the fishing guide. He's got a couple of boats. He can accommodate your small party or large. And here's the information for SouthEAST Marina and Lodge. Great place to stay. We stayed in a little place called the Tree House here, but they've got lots of cabins, small ones, big ones for a big party, a big family, a big corporate outing. This is a great place to come, and you would enjoy the crappie fishing here like we did today. Thanks for joining us. Till next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.